Here we see L.B. Jeffries, played by James Stewart in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Jeff is pointing a flashbulb away from himself with his hand covering his eyes while sitting down on a wheelchair with a broken leg. He's clearly in panic and fear. This is still in Jeff's apartment, right by the rear view window. This examples the movie's cliche, where things end where they begin. The scene surrounding this frame takes place at night after Jeffrey speaks hastily on the phone and completely gives away his voyeurism and signature involvement in the spying of Thorwald and the case forming against him for the murder of his wife. Thorwald enters Jeff's apartment and begins to question his motives, to no avail, and then approaches Jeff with an enraged look on his face. Jeff is in the middle of using a flashbulb mechanism for a camera to buy time for Lisa and Doyle to get there, and to delay Thorwald from getting close to him, since he is physically vulnerable. The mood created is one of suspense and worry. There is low-key lighting in context so that Jeffries can buy more time for himself by creating a sharper blinding effect from the flashbulb on Thorwald. But it also emphasizes the dark events that could unfold, and which Jeff is completely vulnerable to. Jeff is closing his eyes in the still frame, and this has a thematic aspect where he loses power, as the symbol of power throughout the film is his unreturned vision of the events unfolding across the apartment complex. The camera angle in the still frame is low, giving Jeff a sense of power in this specific moment since he is about to blast the flashbulb so that Thorwald's vision is impaired for some brief moments. This creates some contrast with the thematic aspect of the still frame and the scene as a whole, which is one that displays Jeff as powerless and helpless. In this still frame, we see Miss Lonelyhearts, played by Judith Evelyn in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Miss Lonelyhearts is in the middle of setting up her dinner table for what seems to be a candlelight dinner for two in Miss Lonelyhearts' apartment living room. The scene surrounding this still is right after when we first see Lisa and Jeff interact at night in his apartment. Jeff looks out his window while Lisa goes to set everything up for their own little date and sees Miss Lonelyhearts. She seems to be setting up a dinner table for a candlelight date for two, with classy plates and a clean and polished setting. However, we later realize that nobody was coming. When more time passes and Miss Lonelyhearts begins to break down and cry. Her acting is superb enough for the viewer to accurately understand her emotions and her inner dissatisfaction with her loneliness and her tendency to conjure non-existent realities. The mood in this scene transitions from lighthearted and bright to depressing and dark. At first, the high-key lighting in her apartment acts as in complement to her feelings and actions, and then acts as a sharp and ironic contrast to the actual situation, where she is alone and without a real date. The camera angle is high, which shows vulnerability and weakness, which is fitting for this scene. The scene also presents a pessimistic worldview, self-deception, and mental intimacy through voyeurism.